Welcome back, everyone. Today, we're diving into an explainer of a really fascinating, highly structured wealth-building challenge. We're looking at a blueprint that basically strips away all the fluff, It focuses purely on math, leverage, and just relentless execution. So let's unpack the 365-day millionaire blueprint together.
So here's the provocative premise of our source material. What would you actually do if you had exactly 365 days to build $1 million net worth from absolutely nothing? As the text makes crystal clear right out of the gate, there are absolutely no shortcuts here. No lottery tickets, no surprise inheritances. Just 1 year of relentless execution. Sounds impossible, right? Well, maybe. But before we just dismiss it entirely, we need to do something that most of those get-rich-quick schemes completely ignore. We actually need to do the math.
All right, here is our roadmap for this explainer. We're moving past the abstract motivation stuff and getting into a concrete blueprint. First up, the $1 million problem. Then, building your first income engine. Turning skills into systems. The 365-day execution plan. And finally, the real goal of wealth.
Okay, let's dive right into this. Section 1, the $1 million problem, doing the math.
Look, becoming a millionaire in a single year isn't magic. It's actually just an enormous mathematical problem. Think about it. $1 million divided by 365 days. That means you're looking at roughly $2,740 of net worth growth every single day. Let that sink in for a second. Over $2,700 a day. Obviously, that is not a realistic daily salary for, well, almost anyone on Earth. And that massive daily number brings us to a pretty harsh reality. You simply cannot save your way to $1 million in a year. If you're earning 50 grand a year, skipping your daily coffee, that's not going to solve this. Even if you're making 100 grand a year, saving every single penny still doesn't magically create $1 million fortune in 365 days. The math just doesn't compute.
So we need a completely new approach. Section 2, building your first income engine, shifting your mindset.
If saving isn't going to get you there, the strategy has to change entirely, right? Let's look at the employee mindset versus the leverage mindset. Now, a salary is great. It provides stability. But if you're aiming for a 7-figure net worth in 12 months, your biggest limitation is your earnings ceiling. You're kind of stuck constantly asking, how can I save more? Leverage completely changes that equation. It means creating something that produces value without requiring a one-to-one exchange of your actual time for money. Instead, you're asking, how can I create more value? Like building software, a business, or maybe a digital product. Now, to be clear, the goal isn't to just quit your job tomorrow. Your job pays the bills. But your leverage-based business, that's the engine that's going to accelerate your wealth.
But to build that engine, you're going to need some fuel, which in this case is a high-value skill. And the blueprint is super strict here. Don't go spending 90 days trying to learn 15 different things. Just choose one. Sales, copywriting, programming, AI automation, video production, performance marketing, or web development. Pick one. So your first goal isn't actually making $1 million. It's becoming highly valuable. For instance, if you can use AI automation to streamline a local plumber's totally chaotic booking system, they'll happily pay you $2,000 or even $5,000 to fix it. And just like that, you've got a massive income opportunity on your hands.
So your first 30 days are all about learning that chosen skill. But there's a catch here. You can't just spend a month sitting on your couch watching tutorials. You actually have to learn, build examples, try to sell to clients, get rejected, which will happen, improve your offer, and then repeat the whole process. It's a rapid iteration loop. You literally have to get out into the market and get actual, sometimes pretty painful, feedback.
All right, moving right along to Section 3, turning skills into systems, scaling your value.
This is the phase where the fantasy ends and the real execution begins. Listen, your very first customer, it isn't about getting rich. Not at all. It's about absolute proof of market validation. Getting someone to actually exchange their hard-earned money for your solution gives you something way more valuable than just motivation. It gives you proof that your offer actually works. And once you have that, you can improve it. You can raise your prices, gather testimonials, and start to scale.
Now, what's really interesting about this concept is the trap that most people fall into. They stop at step 1, selling time. Sure, they successfully get clients, but they end up basically creating an exhausting freelance job for themselves. That's income, sure, but it's not a scalable business. To hit a massive financial goal like $1 million, you have to transition to building an asset. You need to turn your personal effort into a system by creating templates, automating repetitive tasks, and hiring contractors. Basically, stop asking how can I do more work and start asking how can this system serve more customers.
And that brings us to the climax of this explainer. Section 4, the 365-day execution plan, the strategic roadmap. Okay, but before we look at the actual timeline, we have to clarify a really important mathematical definition. When this blueprint says millionaire, it specifically means net worth. Generating 10 grand a month in profit from your new business is amazing, right? But that's $120,000 a year in cash, nowhere near $1 million. True wealth actually relies on building real assets and sustainable cash flow. A business has a valuation. Investments have a valuation. The goal here isn't to just manufacture some fake millionaire screenshot of a checking account to post online. The goal is to build something inherently valuable.
So here is the timeline broken down into 5 distinct phases. Days 1 to 30. Choose your skill, learn it, build some examples, and hunt down that very first dollar. Days 31 to 90, acquire customers, collect that proof we talked about, and establish a consistent monthly income. Days 91 to 180, this is where you turn the service into a system. Automate, delegate, and step back from doing all the heavy manual lifting yourself. Days 181 to 270, scale. Double down on the offers your customers actually want and start building those lasting assets. And finally, days 271 to 365, optimize. Plug any money leaks and shift your focus entirely from just generating daily revenue to optimizing your overall net worth.
Let's slow things down a bit for our final segment. Section 5, the real goal of wealth, the uncomfortable truth.
Look, this is an intense, relentless schedule we just walked through, which leads us to an uncomfortable truth delivered straight from the source material. You might not become a millionaire in 365 days. Honestly, for most people, it's extremely difficult and nobody can guarantee it. And you know what? That is perfectly okay. We really need to reframe the victory condition here, moving away from just obsessing over a specific bank balance on day 365. Because just look at what you actually build in 1 year by following this. Even if you start with absolute zero, 365 days later you could possess a valuable high-income skill, a profitable business, a growing audience, highly scalable digital assets, an investment portfolio, and a really powerful network. So yeah, you might not hit exactly $1 million, but acquiring all these assets, that makes you a completely different person financially. You are dramatically closer to real wealth than you were a year ago. But to get there, you have to follow some strict rules. Don't measure your success by how motivated you feel today. Measure it strictly by your output. How many offers did you actually make? How many dollars did you save? You have to avoid lifestyle inflation. Just because you're making more doesn't mean you should be spending more. Reinvest aggressively, but not recklessly, into better tools, education, and systems. Because at the end of the day, the numbers, they simply don't care about our excuses.
So we'll wrap up this explainer with a really powerful thought from the text. Don't ask, can I become a millionaire? That is honestly the wrong question. The much better question to ask yourself right now is this: how much can I build if I absolutely refuse to waste the next 365 days? It's time to stop chasing that empty millionaire label and start building the real skills, systems, and assets that make true wealth possible. Your 365 days starts right now. So what are you going to build?